We'll get this popping in just a moment, alright? Give me like 2 minutes. Sorry I got this popping so late. Again, we're trying to get this running on every single Wednesday. And we'll try most Sundays, but some Sundays I'm just not around, unfortunately. But every Wednesday. Okay. I gotta drink a freaking water. Transition to shit. 5, 4, 3, 2, and I think that's all we need. Alright, get this music on lower. And the pop-out chat. Where is it? There we are. Just in case. Alright, my friends. Welcome. This is your boy, Social Heavy Signing here. Sorry, I've been slacking on this, man. I've been slacking a lot, honestly. Not very proud of myself. Includes my trading and stuff. I've been not participating every single day like I should be doing. But anyways, let's get it running. So, man, initially at the beginning of the week, I thought we're gonna continue. I thought this was a first one. I think it's a 5-wave impulse, right? Boom, 5. So I was like, okay, this is a 3-wave pattern. So now we're gonna continue this 5-wave pattern to the downside. Break this low, and from that low, we'll quickly SFP it, and then do this. Come attack that high, reject it. Everybody will think it's the bottom for some reason. I don't know. But this recent move, kind of, and the way this came down, the way this structure here was, just, I better pause this because the last time I didn't pause this, you guys kept hearing that in the background somehow. So this structure here just looked very weird to me. It didn't make sense for a 5-wave pattern, no matter how many times I try to fit it. So then that led me to believe, okay, maybe we're just going to be in this range for quite some time. Throw a 3-wave pattern, a 3-wave pattern to the downside. In my opinion, this is 3 waves. WXY, whatever you want to call it, this is 3 waves. ABC. So my idea, I think we're going to run this high this like towards the end of the week. Let's see here. But we have to hold this level. This is like what's happening right now is very crucial, super crucial. We have to hold this retest. There's once a prior order block of resistance, bearish order block, has not been flipped, but will it hold as support? Previous resistance, will it hold as support? Let's see. Here's the first row test. This is counter testing it. First row test, 4-hour. Has broken out and is in a bull range. When we tend to be above this upper band, it tends to be very volatile, or below the lower band, it tends to be very, very volatile. And you can see it's clearly apparent here. It broke down here, rejected it, and then we quickly saw more downside. Same thing here, upside, accepted it, and then quickly broke out. Now the question is, will it be sustained? So if this idea is going to be true, it should. So what should happen if this... Damn, what the hell was that? Weird. That's very loud. So this idea can sustain. This has to happen right here. This absolutely has to happen. If it does not happen, this idea goes to shit, and we must throw it out. You double check everything's working correctly. So far, so good. Looks like your stream is going well. Recorded. Yeah. See, well. Okay. So this absolutely has to happen. If this does not happen, then this idea goes to shit, like I said. So this level is very important to us. Daily levels today are daily open was here, which was not good right now. We're not doing too well. Daily low. Bang. The low was here. So we have a pretty fat range from the daily. If you're not, let's double check I was correct. Yep. Retesting to 21. This would be a great opportunity to get into a position if you think this idea is going to be true. I did get into a small long in this little dip here. 25% of what I normally enter myself with until I get more confirmation. I'll quickly cut it if we get into this, if we break below this range and tap this wave 1 area. One thing I don't like is that MLCOB today did open up bullish, but it ended up breaking down, ended up bearish. So usually when it does, it tends to be significantly bearish. So that's kind of worrying me, but so far the structure looks perfectly fine in terms of a 3-wave pattern to the downside, and I could say this most likely will happen in terms of Elliott wave process. Let's check one more thing I haven't really checked. See how far this move went. That's the only thing I don't like either. The extension did not really get where you normally look for. So that's another thing you could possibly be worried about. That's where you usually look for wave 3 to go. But we only went to the 136, which is a very common ABC pattern type of thing. The only way I would really look for a short is if we broke below 2570. The reason why I say that is if you didn't short this move up here, as a hedge or anything like that, I don't really think if we were to break lower underneath this level, I would still wouldn't trust it, because there could be a possibility this would turn into an even more disgusting pattern. You just can't really guess things like that. 3-wave pattern up, 3-way wave down, and then you get another 3-wave, another 3-wave, and another 3-wave, and you probably barely touch this high, and then reject, and then come crashing down like this. It ends up being a diagonal, which would be a pain in the ass to try to guess what is going to happen. The only time you would really understand that ends up being diagonal would probably be either at this point or this point. Or maybe even here. It's possible. I would have an assumption here if I saw through a pattern we broke down and then we held the previous high there, then I'll be okay, it's a definite diagonal. So it'd probably be assumption here, pretty confident there, almost certainty. So that's why I say I wouldn't trust shorting anything that went down here, because the daily low could still be held, and then we just go back and chase the high, and then it's just some fuckery. They're just playing the ranges with us, daily ranges, until we play into the weekly ranges, and then eventually we'll find a way to break out. But that's just how to get the game to play. Let's see here. I did take a head short at, I think it was I can pull up my phone real quick. Same amount of lot value as my long position. Just because I was like, what was it? The hourly gave me a really good short sale setup right here. And I needed confirmation, and I got confirmation on this breakdown. So I'm pretty sure I entered like let's see here, it says 27.09 and 45 cents. So that's pretty damn on that fucking candle. So, if this ends up failing, I'll quickly exit it. And this one, we'll see what happens beyond this. I'm not going to add in anything until this daily low is broken. I don't feel confident adding anything in here until the daily low is broken, because this, like I said, this could happen. And not just broken. I want the daily low to be broken. Then tries to come up and rejects again, and then there I'll add into position. Below 2,500 is where I get really confident that we're going to what patterns end up being, I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty confident at least it'll break this low and attack 2,300. But that's just not even going with alleyway. It's just going with price action and shit like that. And understanding that the daily low is broken like that, rejected, we must respect it. If we do break low like that, let's see what would make sense though. What would make sense? This would turn into a 3-way pattern. This I would just assume this would be all one pattern, and then this is still gonna do this, and then this. Set up soon. So game plan on ease, my folks. Again, NRCO will be open up bullish today, here, but then it failed here, and then ended up taking it and going short, not short, but usually when it fails miserably. It goes cascading. Just looking at RSI and shit. Yeah, one thing I've noticed too with divergences I've on my RSI is that when there's divergence, they tend to be better when a divergence happens over the mid band or in a positive way. Same thing on the opposite side, when it happens underneath the mid band or in a negative way, meaning that the actual RSI line is red or actual RSI line is green or white, but it was previously the other bias. So like for this instance, this wouldn't be a too good one because it was a double negative. See how the RSI was still red? It was a double negative on the RSI, and usually when that happens, the divergence you see it tends to fail. And it just keeps going. Like in this particular point right here, that's divergence, but they were negative because the previous one was red, didn't turn green. The RSI didn't turn green at all, and it just kept falling. Basically, with all of these, especially this, like went positive here for a moment, but it failed. That could have possibly got you in a decent little long because it was a positive into a neutral, which would be a fine. But then just created a lower high, went negative into a neutral, and since it wasn't a positive into a neutral, it failed. And so that's exactly what I'm saying here. Is that going to happen again? A double negative into a neutral. Is this going to fail? I hope not. Because I think the simplest idea would be to go hold this level and go up from here. But I have noted that thing, especially on a higher time frame, it tends to really work well. So pay attention to this thing here. Is it going to fail? Or are we going to get like, a few days of bullishness like this? Or it's just one little pop and we're failing. That's why we have levels, and we have to respect them. My level is daily low here. Start treating me low daily low. I think I'm confident that negative divergence we saw will end up playing. I'm sorry if I'm confusing. It's actually a bullish divergence, but it was a negative bullish divergence because it wasn't green. Like for instance, this is a perfect example on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour. Look how this divergence here was green. It was a green into a neutral, right? But it stayed over, that's all we need. It could break slightly below the middle band and stay neutral, and that'll be fine. Just as long as your next candle closes higher, and at that point it should go green. A perfect example, like here's the divergence, right? Negative into a negative divergence, right? And ended up failing. Could have made a lower and not a low. This one played out pretty well. And here's another good example too. Broke negative. Notice how we went back over the mid band, but we stayed neutral. RSI stayed neutral. So that's another good example. Negative into a neutral. That's instead of, if it was still green, it wouldn't probably be a good setup. It would probably just continue going higher. Like for instance, right here, right? Actually, this was a perfect example for another long. Look at this. This one failed, but it's still a good trade. It failed though, but this one played out perfectly well, right? Positive into a positive into a neutral. And look at this. Look at that move. So I'm paying attention to those things now, especially on a higher time frames. See what happens in the next few. I'll say. By midnight, we should really know what's going to happen. In my opinion. Let's go to ETH. I'm not ETH, BTC. Man, BTC's move looks so good, and then this nasty ass hourly candle at the end of New York close. It's disgusting. I got my team on an ETH long down in here. Again, my criteria is very simple. Got a positive divergence, broke over the mid-band, or stayed positive. I meant the mid-band 21, stayed positive. Accepted it. I was like, there's no reason we shouldn't think it's going to go up now. And it went up. Our question is, this is like a pretty, no really divergence here besides a hidden divergence. The only thing we can rely on hourly now is just levels and momentum. Momentum stays negative with this staying negative. And then we continue cascading down to the daily low. This ends up being a three-way pattern. Then I think you add down there. Target there. That. Pretty significant change, but all right, let's go to start a little higher. Oh, it could be a triangle. Imagine if it's a triangle. Oof. I mean, it can be. You expect triangles to hit barriers, but sometimes you just don't do that. And personally, this look right now, it wouldn't give us a triangle. It would be impossible. Because that's supposed to be a boundary. Then if this breaks low, on your RSI, your true triangle should also form an RSI and price. But if this breaks lower, this will break that triangle, and this will invalidate any triangle that's forming in this area, in my opinion. And it'll end up being. Again, it'll end up being if we break that low like this. Maybe I was wrong. This was a three-way pattern. I don't know. W, X, Y, ABC. Who cares? Breaks that low. Then it comes up, attacks that high. Everybody thinks it's a triangle. It's not a triangle. Breaks that low. Memes everybody out of their positions. Then memes everybody out of their positions again. Everything that picked up 3 days looking like not too well. A hidden divergence there. Weekly looks like weekly rejection. We got, like I said, we have a divergence, but it's not the kind we like. This was a great hidden divergence on the weekly, 36. Oosh. Look at that meme head and shoulders in that 15-minute or hourly. Great setup on the breakdown. I just wasn't watching Bitcoin at the time. I was watching Ethereum. Previous support. I would say if we lose this area, we're pretty much destined to revisit this range, and that would not be good. And I think at that point, I'm just really at that point. Especially looking at Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gets down here, I'm for sure thinking like there's no way this is gonna end up being. I cannot see that, and I would be again willing to say that. Where's the daily low? Let's check for the daily low, guys, girls. Where are you at? Where are you at? Right there. It's a little bit lower than ease. Bulls will need to fight real hard to get back to the daily high because they're quite the ways away from it. But again, they're quite a ways away from the low. But that's not like the way we rejected. Let's just draw this area real quick. Be politically correct. It's not really good support in my opinion either. It doesn't look too good. It's not really good. Those aren't good candles for an order block in my opinion. Yikes. Let's see what happens. Bitcoin's level, in my opinion, that we need to watch is 40,380-ish. I think if we break that level, that's basically where my 21 weighted moving average is right here. We break that, we're definitely, I'm definitely thinking the daily low is getting attacked, and if we break below the daily low, I'm pretty destined. Look at this meme head and shoulders. Do you see this meme head and shoulders? There's no way that's about to form, right? There's no way, right? I mean, a weird ass shoulder. I think it'll fake out. Just the way, just how high that went. I think it'll fake out. That's my preferred plan, right there. Here to here to here, on the way it looks right now. If we break the 21, okay, break 40,300, whatever it said. This box, 40,390, I guess, or 40,400 if you want to be a little bit more on there's a direct number. 40,400. Break that. This is my preferred path. I just think this right shoulder is like, if you're like trying to meme it like that, it is way too large, and by the time it gets here, it'll run out of fuel. It'll just take these stops, then hopefully run this high, and then run those stops, then the filthy game will continue. But everything just looks like corrections. Threes. So there's only one. I only thought there's one impulse, which is right here. It didn't break a low, so I was like, well, it must be contained. If it's contained, it must be like an ABC or flat. Well, I mean, that's the same thing to it. But anyways, just to reiterate, levels for Bitcoin, 40,400 in my opinion. If we break below that, which is basically where my 21 moving average is, I think that would cause a cascade to the daily low at 38,649. And if that breaks, I will definitely think that at bare minimum, this low there. And if we reject the daily low again, then we'll definitely be seeing 34,300. Break back over the low like this and accept it, then we're going to continue up and probably attack that high. Definitely attack this high. Soul's interesting to me. My preferred path is this, but I'm really liking Soul on the higher time frame. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen after this happens, but something's going to happen. I assumed with the way this pattern looks here, it was a wave 3 and 4, and I just assumed prior price action, whatever. What should happen, what is unfortunate, I'm sorry, soul holders and lovers, is that if we do this pattern as a three-way pattern, we should at least by minimum be a three-way pattern. I do not think we will break the all-time high. I think we'll reject somewhere in this area between 158 to 196. If we reject 158, I'll be very cautious that the low at 72 will be broken. If we tap 149, 195, and or break it, then I'm pretty confident these lows are going to be held, and it's going to do more like this. More like a running flats or something like that, and a three-way pattern like this, and then this will mean Solana will be off to the races. And the biggest, most volatile move you could imagine, if this is truly going to be wave 3. But this interests me on the mid-time frame because it's the structure. And one thing I noticed is the volume here definitely picked up. Notice how much bars are above the average. To me, that's important. To me, there's a lot of interest in this area. I have marked this order block here at a breakdown level, and we have tapped it once. I think we should double dip it. Usually, it takes a double dip in most order blocks. Like it dips into the high side and dips into the low side, then it takes off. And that makes sense with Elliott Wave. Here was a projected time. I projected this pattern to end. If we make one more low, it would just be just outside of time, which I would allow it for this large of a time frame we're studying. What I do like and what I'm noticing, look at this. Look at these divergences that are forming. They're forming in positives. So I'm liking that. I'm liking the setups. Look at this. Positive. If we break it low, we should hold. And if we make it low and we hold this order block at 68.26, I'm pretty confident this will stay positive or neutral. And that would be our definite signal that this ABC is most likely over. And there's a pretty significant upside chance for Sol. I reckon like at least 70% to 140%, which is pretty significant. So, I'm liking Sol. Thank you for a member in Elevate Trading for putting that one up. Very good coin to be looking at. Look how well that 21 has held that. It goes really well with the 25 SRSI. Once they agree together, it's like you gotta trust them agreeing together. So if that breaks positive, this is still positive. Dude, that would confirm that this is gonna stay like that. Just like this. Just like this. Best divergences happen when they're negative, right? Here's the first one, there's neutral. Well, that wasn't really a divergence. The first one happened. I consider that here, but I'll consider it here. As an Elliott Wave trader, I would be very reluctant to call that a fifth wave high. But I would be definitely on this, either on this one, for sure calling it, saying it's possible fifth wave whatever. And look at this, how it was into a negative, into a neutral, and just kept going. And as soon as they both agreed, go negative, stay negative, negative, finally positive, and a positive divergence. Let's see what happens. Might take a little time like this, but as an Elliott Wave trader, I think this looks like pretty complete. 3 waves, A, B, C, 3 waves up. Just, it could be a little small for some, so actually it could do like maybe this, like that, and then like this. But I really don't think so. I think this order block should hold, because beyond this order block, there's really nothing, and that'll be very scary. So. Where's my So, I think we're good here. I think we're good here. Sorry, I just texted someone, but yeah. If you have bracing no question concern, because I don't think anyone's really in this chat, but thank you all for tuning in. This will be a re-uploaded ASAP, so you can watch tomorrow, whenever you guys get a chance. I know sometimes I get on too late, a little too late, but there's a car accident. I had no choice but to be late, so whatever. My preferred path, that's all that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all take care, right? It's been your boy, Toshi. Mother. Oh, come on. We'll try to run this on Sunday as well. Alright? A little bit earlier. Sundays I try to run it earlier just because I'm usually home during the daytime rather than during the nighttime. That's obvious kind of thing. Anyways, hope y'all enjoy this tune. Tell me what you hate, love, want more of, and I'll get to those. Alright? Appreciate you. Thumbs up or unthumb it or thumbs down it, which makes me very sad. And make sure, most of all, to subscribe. And that will be it. Alright? Thank you all for tuning in. Until Sunday, this has been your boy, Satoshi, motherfucking heavy. Peace out. No. I didn't mean to do that. They're gonna fucking cancel this shit. Anyways, peace out.